Growing up, my brother, who's 6 years older than me, he was very into a band called Humphreys McGee. And being the younger sister, I always looked up to him, and I got into that band. And Humphreys McGee is a jam band who I have seen 55 times now. So from there, I started listening to new bands, started with Yonder Mountain String Band, who's kind of the OG of the bluegrass world. At one point, I was seeing 3 to 4 concerts a week in college, which my bank account did not like.
You know, I got into the Grateful Dead in middle school and had been exposed to some bluegrass and Grateful Dead jam band stuff, just what my parents listened to, but through kind of seeing some similar bands, you know, kind of related to the Dead and the jam band scene, I saw String Cheese Incident, and they're a little bluegrassy, and that got me into Yonder and some of the other bands. And really a lot of what I learned about JamGrass is from seeing the bands that are on the lineup at festivals like String Summit or Blue Ox or whatever else, where you just kind of get exposed to other bands that have a similar feel.
Bluegrass and jam bands kind of have a crossover. Most people like both.
JamGrass is basically just like jam band influenced bluegrass, and it's kind of loosely defined, which is what's the fun part about it. Sometimes it's a bluegrass lineup that jams out and plays like rock music, and sometimes it's kind of a rock band with a bluegrass influence.
That's one thing that I really appreciate about bluegrass and jam bands is the fact that they're playing real instruments up there, and half the time they're improvising. It's hard to do.
My first time at Hording's Hideout was 2007 for the String Cheese Incident. And then I thought it was just such a beautiful, kind of unique, special place, just different than any other venue I've ever been at, where I then gotten into Yonder Mountain String Band and saw that they had their festival, Northwest String Summit, out here, so came out to check that out just because I wanted to get back to Hording's, and that's kind of when I first got really into Yonder too.
So I was in my interview with Sherry and Andy, and they asked me what I like to do in my free time, and I said I like to see concerts, I like to travel, and I like to travel and see concerts. And they asked what kind of music I like. I said bluegrass and jam bands. And Andy looked at me and he goes, "Did you know that we own JamGrass TV?" My jaw dropped. I was like, I want that job.
Just kind of some conversations about wanting to do a documentary kind of side project. We reached out to the festival and see if they were interested, and spent a couple years working on that first Turn Left at the Peacock documentary on the festival.
Either way, it means the time is flying. Can't recall how I got here.
By then had developed streaming capabilities for other projects, so spent about the last 2 years live streaming shows and festivals, trying to grow the brand and content for JamGrass TV.
It's incredible to be resting my arms on a stage with bands that I listen to all the time.
Yeah, so now I've been up here 9 years in a row, and at the festival, this is my 10th straight one.
If I was not working here at Northwest String Summit, I would absolutely attend the festival. It's a really cool festival. There's nothing like seeing live music.